Alright, so we're going to talk about how we can combine the concept of change of character and break of structure to read the market, right? Change of character and break of structure, I said in the previous videos, they are the basis of market structure, right? Market structure, if you are not able to read market structure, you can't trade, right? And if you don't understand change of character, break of structure, I-boss, I-choch, which is internal break of structure, internal change of character, M-choch, M-boss, major break of structure, major change of character, it will be difficult for you to know where the market wants to move next, right? Understanding change of character and break of structure together helps you, right, know almost at any point in time where the market wants to go, right? So this video will be done to help you understand, the concept of change of character and break of structure, right? So it's going to help you understand, using this diagram, how these two are used together to help understand what the direction of the market. And so later after this video, then we'll move on to the chart and apply the same concept on the chart, right? So we're starting from the left, right? So we already talked about lower highs and lower lows, right? We talked about lower high and lower low. We talked about higher high and higher low, right? Higher high and higher low is what the characteristic of an uptrend market. Lower highs and lower lows are characteristics of what downtrend market, right? So now in a downtrend market, we are forming lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. This is I-boss, 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 internal break of structure, internal break of structure, internal break of structure, right? And then we move up to form what a higher high, right? We move up to form a higher high. Now this is an I-choch. This is your first sign of what change of character, because in a downtrend market, we are expecting the market to keep on breaking structure to the downside. So the moment we break structure to the upside, then that means there has been a structural shift. There has been a character change, which is what change of character, right? So lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then higher high. So this is what change of character. Now if this move down, took out this low, then we would have another lower low. But since this low didn't take out this low and we push to the outside, this is going to be what a higher low. So a higher low, although it's a low formed in an uptrend market. A lower low is a low formed in a downtrend market. So now we find we have higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? Now this whole structure, if I'm reading this whole structure, this is going to be my lower low and my lower high and lower low, lower high, because this high didn't take out this high, this high didn't take out this high. Now if I'm using this structure, just reading this small part of the structure, this is going to be a higher high, because we are reading from higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. If I'm using just this smaller structure, this minor structure, this is going to be my higher high. But on a major structure, this is going to be a lower high, so don't be confused. I think someone will be saying, okay, this is a higher high, this is a higher, this is supposed to be a higher high, so why is there written lower high, right? So that's the explanation for that. If I'm reading just this short-term structure, that's going to be a higher high. But then on a major structure, a point of view is going to be a lower high. Although it's a high form in the downtrend market, because this is the previous lower high. This high has not taken out this high, right? Okay, now in an uptrend market, we are expecting the market to form a series of higher highs and higher highs and higher lows, but then we form a lower low. Then that's the total that we've had a structural shift. We've changed direction to the downside. We're expecting the market to break structure to the upside, but this is our first deviation away from the market's direction. Although structure was broken, it was broken to the downside and not the upside. So then this becomes an internal change of character, or change of character. Your first sign of markets was shifting direction. Now this is to tell you that the market wants to start pushing to the upside. Then after that we have a lower high, and then we had another lower low. Now only the first break, as I said, is change of character. Any break thereafter is going to be break of structure, right? First break is change of character, but if we break structure again to the direction where the change of character happened, then we are going to have break of structure. So break of structure, break of structure, break of structure, break of structure. Since this first break is the change of character. So break of structure, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then we move on to form what, a higher high, right? We move on to form a higher high. A higher high because this high has overtaken this high. So this is a high formed in an uptrend market. So once we form a higher high, then the market is trying to communicate to you, I want to shift direction to the upside. It's no more going to push to the downside. It no more wants to move to the downside. It wants to push to the upside. So then this is going to be what, our change of character. And then higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? And then instead of the market to push on during this down move to form a higher low and then form another higher high, we went on to form a lower low. So then that means there has been what, another change of what, character. So you understand, once you get this change of character, it's your first indication to you, the trader, that the market wants to shift from buys to sells, right? Price wants to move from buys towards sells, so it wants to push to the downside. And now you have what, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then we get another structural shift, which is what, change of character, right? You should know this by now. Change of character, structural shifts, and then higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Yeah, so this is how we combine change of character and then break of structure to read the market, right? So this is Choch, boss, boss, boss. Now you see we have boss and boss, right? If you are reading it from a major structural point of view, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, this is going to be what, an boss, because this move led to the breaking of this low, and this is the low which engulfs all these lows. This is the last low formed before this whole high move. So this is the last low of the major structure. So this combined, all these lows combined, is what, major structure, right? Because if you are reading it this way, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, don't forget all these highs and lows within our what, internal structures. So all these lows are internal structures of this low. All these lows and highs are internal structures of this low. All these lows and highs are internal structures of this high, right? So once this last low, which led to this whole up move, has been taken out, then you have what, a major break of structure. And why is it break of structure? Structure has been broken to the market's current direction, because you know that currently the market is pushing toward to the downside, right? So major break of structure, and this is also what, a major break of structure to the downside, right? Because structure has been broken to the downside on a major level, right? Now, so lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then we have what, an Choch, right? Change of character. Why? We were expecting the market to keep on forming lower lows, but what we form was a higher high. So this is our first indication. We have to start looking for what, buys instead of sells. And now we move on to form higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So the market keeps on pushing up from here. Now something interesting happened here. We have what, an Choch. We were expecting this up move to end around this area, right? It shouldn't move past this high, but since we move past this high, then we have what, a higher high. Now this is going to be what, a major change of character, because this is our major structure, and now with this high has taken out the last high form before all these down move. Okay, so now we've had what, a major structural shift, major change of character. So now this becomes what, higher low, lower low, higher high, higher low, and then a higher high. Right? It makes sense. Now only the first break is what characterized as a what, an Choch. Any break thereafter is going to be what, an boss. Now on a major structural level, so now Choch down, and then we push up, we take out this, and then we have what, major break of structure, right? Major break of structure. So only the first break is a change of character. Any break thereafter in the direction of what, the change of character, is going to be what, break of structure. So the reason why this is a major break of structure is that this structure was broken on what, on a major level. So this whole structure, this is the high, right, and this is the low, and the high has been taken out. After this high, no other high can be seen. So right, this becomes a major structural break. right? Very, 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 very understandable. So, and then we have what? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So this is how we combine the concept of major change of character, minor change of character, high choch, high boss. So the reason why all these are all high chochs is that they are all internal structures to this low and this high. All these highs and lows are internal structures to this high and this low, this high, and the other high that's going to be formed, right? So combining internal change of character, knowing which one is your internal change of character, major change of character, internal break of structure, major break of structure, helps you understand, know at any point in time what the market is trying to tell you as a trader, right? So if we have an internal change of character, it's a shift in market structure, what, in a short term. We are only going to shift structure in the long term if we get what, a major change of character. So when we get a major structural change, then that is tell you that the market's direction is going to shift for a longer period, right? But if you have an internal change of character which is not followed by a major change of character, that means that what, we are likely going to keep on pushing to the downside and break structure, right, to the downside again. So in this downtrend, once we push up, we weren't able to take out this high. So this change of character produced what, a short-term uptrend, which is a pullback, and then we push to the downside again to break structure, major structure. This change of character is what, internal change of character, because what is going to cause a major change of character when this high is taken, right? So since this high is not taking, this is still internal what, change of character, and this change of character is just giving you the idea that the market is going to what, push to the upside in the short term, but it doesn't mean the market is going to push to the upside, in the long term. We only get a confirmation the market is going to push to the upside in the long term if we have what, a major change of character, which is the taking out of the last high that was formed, right? Now once we take out this low, the market is giving us confirmation that I want to what, keep on pushing to the upside in the long term. We can only be able to know when that will end when we have what, a major change of character. So after this major break of structure, we push to the downside. We are expecting the market to pull back. Now the market is pulling back, and then what? Since we know what, we've had a major break of structure, we are expecting the market to reverse around this area, not taking out this high and then push down to form what, a low. But that didn't happen here, and then we rather took out this high. So that is telling us that what, the market wants to shift structure to the upside now. So this is how we use major change of character and break of structure as a whole to what, read market structure, right? You understand, just by this diagram you understand how by combining these two you are able to read the chart. So lower high, lower low, lower high, lower lower high, lower low, change of character. Market is trying to tell you, okay, I want to push to the upside. Now higher high, higher low, looking for buys. So you'll be buying these lows and then we form with higher high. Now we change character again. Instead of the market to break structure to the upside, we've broken structure to the downside. So now this becomes what, lower low, change of character, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, right? So very simple. This is how change of character and break of structure can be used to read the chart. If you don't understand this video, just try and watch it over again, and then you will get an understanding. You can also join the Telegram group, and also live sessions will be conducted, and then you can ask questions through live sessions. So don't forget to like and subscribe the videos, and also leave your comment, because it pushes our videos out, right? Helps the algorithm push our video to a wider audience. So yes, to summarize everything, we have major structure, we have what, minor structure, we have internal change of character, we have major change of character. And what that means is that it happens depending, you characterize them depending on the structure's what size. So if it's a bigger structure, if it's the last low formed before a major upside move, a major downside move, right? That lower low, when it's taken out, becomes what, a major break of structure if the market keeps on pushing down, right? So yes, understand change of character break of structure, and it will be easy for you to read the charts.